Board games, it's what I'm talking about. Board games, I'm not gonna shout. I am starting off this stream with a little bit of singing, and today I'm finishing a Kickstarter. It has gone so much better than I would have expected. And I submitted an idea to the world and it wasn't rejected. Card games and a game about wee whimsical creatures and trying to identify them after someone makes noises. It's what I'm talking about. Card games and a game about wee whimsical creatures and trying to identify them after someone makes noises. I'm not gonna shout. Hello and good morning, good afternoon, good whatever it is, wherever you are. I am Bez, and hello Rob. The noise is the red creature with the dark hair and the keyboard, right? Thank you for popping in. As always, Rob, it is a delight to have your presence. I am Bez. I am the red creature with, I guess, the darker hair, although bits of it are kind of light. I'd like to get the ends re-dyed so they're properly red. But some busy beats and briefer blether. I'm going to try and keep up the beats, and I'm trying to keep the blether briefer. Like, we did have one episode that was 1 hour long when we were launching the Kickstarter, but I feel like I've done quite well. And I just realised that today should have been Friendly Friday for him, but there you go. And hello, Bones John! Oh my gosh, I need to get my glasses on if I can find them. No, I can't, so I'm just going to have to peer at the screen. Ha ha ha, that was fantastic. As soon as I started watching, you delivered that really fast line in the song. I have no idea what you said. I said a game about wee whimsical creatures and trying to identify them after someone makes noises. It's the name of my latest game. I should probably link to it. Actually, you know what? I'm going to link to latest. Yeah. There we go. It is all good. Oh my gosh. I totally need to plug in, otherwise my laptop's going to die. I do apologize for my unprofessionalism. Power! We have power. Power. There. Power is surging through the laptop. So, to start today, I'm going to be talking about my Kickstarter finishing. I don't really have much of a big topic. It is kind of a vlog today. And so let's talk about recent highlights, living life and seeing the sights. Recent highlights, living life, playing games and other delights. Recent highlights. So what have been some of your recent highlights? Tell me. And Rob says, I keep getting notifications and emails referencing a game about Wii. Is that where the Kickstarter email cuts off, where your email client runs out of characters and it doesn't say anything beyond that? That's funny. And hello, Dutch Yoda. It is lovely to see you. Thank you for joining us. And by the way, you look good in red. Thank you. I mean, it is a colour I often choose to wear. Rob says, not sure I like the sound of a game about Wii. I mean, And yes, indeed, Yoda is the loveliest person, and is a Netherlander. Yoda speaks Netherlandish, and yes. But so recent highlights. I think it's still fairly recent. Just the Kickstarter, it's still going, and I'm still blown away. 700 people. I'm actually going to check what it's up to now, because it's just, wow, 747 people. That's incredible. I think it could get to 800. And I want to also share a little screen, if I may. I mean, no one's going to stop me. So this is one of my big highlights. So actually, let me scroll back and put this into context. So I asked people on Facebook to try and color in some of the things, and one person who colors in the things will get some sort of prize. I thought it would be fun, and I made a post, and here's the first entry where someone says this is an albino creature. I don't think I can really accept that, although it was quite amusing, all the chat afterwards. Then we got this one in front of 10 Downing Street. We got this Spotsy Efforts. It's a bit more like a die. It uses the cuboid nature of the creature to be a die. That's pretty fantastic. And Dutch Yoda has their own highlight. 200 followers last night. Congratulations. And yes, the monster in front of number 10. And everyone seemed to latch onto that one monster that you... I love this colouring in because the background and the text and everything, if I had to, like, this as an image, I think this is just fantastic. Like, the background, the texture, like, the way the colour of the text and the creature really pops. I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed seeing what people are coming up with. This is a digital colouring in. It's quite blurry for some reason. It's quite trippy. Here's the monster number 25 in front of the Monsters Inc. background. And like, there's a lot going on with these patterns. Here's one where someone made "It's hard to be Technicolor in a monochrome world," which is a really interesting statement. And Rob says, highlights, 2 of my friends launched Kickstarters this week. That would be myself and Idol Michael, and they have both done really well. Thank you for sharing in our joy. And so then Stacey Gisby. So here's, and if you want to see who made these, like, do check the names as I'm scrolling through. So Stacey Gisby, some really nice colouring and blending going on, going full on traditional. Let me... This was my favourite digital drawing. It's like just full on digital. It's like, what's even going on here? This is like a crazy, I don't know, computer creature from Sammy Clark. This is really freaky. The purple and blue bending is nice. And yeah, this is a glitchy monster. I like it. Like, this monster is like the depiction of a computer virus almost. Yeah, this could be like if you wanted to draw a computer virus. Sammy Clark also did a more sedate bunch of colours, but if you look in the background, it's like still got that starbursts, like interesting textures going on. Sammy Clark's done quite a few digital recreations and colourings in. I like how, you know, it's kind of trippy, like it's kind of MC Escher-esque almost. The way that the diamonds don't quite match up with the... It's like there's a cube that doesn't quite match up with the shape of the creature, and you're not quite sure what's going on. And I like that. We've got Jessica Medringham, my lovely friend, who has sparkly bottom and beaks. Just this whole creature sparkles. Sammy Clark, like this is just really strong, vibrant colours. I mean, I'm just like blown away. This is my highlights of the day. And again from Sammy Clark, I really like the texture used for the legs. It must be nice to have a sparkly bottom. And then we get to my real highlight. Yes. So firstly, by Ross McLaren. I really like the colours chosen. I mean, of course, I'm a fan of the reddish and some nice shading. And it feels like everyone's like actually made a good effort, which I'm really chuffed with. Except for Ian Bolton, but Stacey Gisby, this is my highlight. So Stacey Gisby, and let's go actually back to, now we've showed the context, just this image by Stacey Gisby. There we go. Hopefully you can see their name. Oh no, you can't see their name. But Stacey Gisby, let me write in. I have been crediting everyone, but this deserves special credit. So Stacey Gisby made an actual brooch. So this is like a physical recreation of the monster. It's almost like I've gotten fan art. They just said that they like the monster enough, and that just blew my mind. And Dutch Yoda says, wow, that must have been some labour. Yeah, I know. And so I reached out to them, like, I said, you know, the thing is, like, Sally Jones, for people who don't know the Crafting Jones, Sally Jones is wonderful, making stuff with my all sorts of cards and playing cards. And I think it was a few years ago, maybe 3 years ago, I reached out to Sally Jones after hearing an interview with her on War Not Wizards, where Sally was talking about the licensing issues, how Sally can't actually sell stuff with other games explicitly. But then she could if someone gave her permission. And so I was like, hey Sally, how would you feel about me giving you permission to make stuff out of my games? And so now if you go to a convention like UK Games Expo, where I'm there, then you'll find some of Sally Jones's stuff on my stand, because Sally Jones has actually made bunting and little flowers and little, you know, bow ties, like, out of the cards, and it's amazing. And if you go where Sally is, Sally will be at some craft fairs, and then there's those things made out of my games, and they also give Sally some copies of my games to sell. And when I sell something of Sally's, Sally gets, like, I get a negligible part of that profit. When something of mine gets sold by Sally. Sally gets a small part of that profit, let's say. And so, because my stuff's mass-produced, Sally's stuff is all bespoke and handmade. But yeah, it's a really nice thing. And I was talking with Stacey Gisby that maybe Stacey Gisby can, do something similar. And so we're kind of talking about, maybe Stacey Gisby making little pins out of more of the monsters. And Stacey Gisby would keep most of the profits, and I would have a negligible amount, because again, for me, it's just like amazing seeing what people have done. Same as you, Bones. Like if you're saying that, Bones John says, I love your character designs, and seeing what others have done with them is fun. And if it's fun for you, imagine how it's like for me. Like for me, it just blows my mind. It's incredibly validating. It's incredibly wonderful. It's fantastic. I'm feeling really privileged and honoured. And so if we get some brooches with those things, that would be cool. So that's definitely my recent highlight, and my achievement is, I guess, making a game that and drawing a bunch of things. But each day I try to say, okay, what was my achievement? My old achievement for yesterday was getting away from the screen for almost 2 hours. Maybe even 3. It was after 8, I went out, I cycled around, then I sat down for a bit, and then I came back. And it was, I think it's important to get away from the screen. And sometimes, there's always more that you could do on social media. There's always more that you could do to promote your Kickstarter. But frankly, I am going to have to fulfill more orders for this game than I've ever had to fulfill before. And that is slightly frightening. Let me change the screen. So that is slightly frightening, how I'm going to have to... But I've given myself plenty of time. I said, okay, these first ones I'm going to ship. I think I wrote October, but I'm really going to do it in September. And then the next one in November, then in December, then in January, and then in April. I mean, if we do them all early, then obviously people will be happy, but I've warned people. And did I know Iron Man stops criminals, but Aluminium Man just foils their plans? That's a good pun. I did not know that. I had not heard that before. Very good, very good. Okay, I'm just going to leave that brooch on the screen for the rest of the stream because I love it so much. Does it say by Stacey Gisby at the bottom? I think, can you just about do? I think, you might be able to. So Stacey Gisby, thank you so much again for that work that you've done. Let's talk about brilliant things. Brilliant things. What's a little thing which is brilliant? And while I'm talking about brilliant things, oh my gosh, it's already 23 minutes past. But feel free to think of your own questionably quick questions, but they have to be somewhat quick. But brilliant things, I'm going to say getting outside, that was a brilliant thing. Boom, done. On to the next thing. Getting outside was wonderful. Now, what else can I talk about? Oh, I could talk about a game about wee whimsical creatures and trying to identify them after someone makes noises. Yep, I've worked out a co-op mode. I need to write down the rules and do some art. I'm going to try and test the free player mode today, I think. But I'm also going to try and test the, a game about drawing creatures, complementing those drawings, and then complementing the complements. So this is a brand new game. Let me get it up, the full title. A game about complementing creatures, complementing the drawings, and complementing the complements. There we go. So, that is the new game, and I'm very happy that everyone seems to be excited by it. I mean, people voted for it as the second stretch goal reward, and now people prefer it more than the digital wallpaper, so people are caring about it. I think we had 8 votes for extra compliment prompts. So it's going to be, you get some prompts for your drawings, which will be cards. Then you've got prompts for giving the compliments. And I think you might also potentially want prompts for the compliments about the compliments. But yeah, I'm going to write that out, and so I'm really excited to kind of look into this, because it's an interesting psychological thing, how people are so bad at taking compliments. And in my game, the rule is you can't reject the compliments. All you're allowed to say is thank you, and if you say anything except for thank you when you're being complimented, you lose. And yep, I heard someone say that people in glass houses shouldn't get changed. And also they shouldn't get stoned. Oh. But yeah, I guess there are no questionably quick questions, so let's move on to, I guess that's it. I've talked about, so that's the game. I've written out the 48 the drawing prompts. I've not really done the compliments, but because people value it, it's kind of mulling around in my mind more. So I'm basically just spending much of the day thinking, what sorts of things could people focus on for the compliments? What kind of compliments could people give? And it means that it's important enough for me to bother, prioritizing it for Friday daytime playtest. And on Sunday, when I'm having friends over, I asked them, hey, would you mind playing one of these games? But I think that brings us to the end. And where's my recap bit? So, yeah. I want to say, I've been blown away by the Kickstarter. It's up to, let me actually double check once more, because it was 749. So this Kickstarter is more successful than anything I have ever done before. My most financially successful Kickstarter in the past was, I believe, 5,091, something like that. It had 280 backers, which was also my best ever. It was for Wibble++ Deluxe, which I'm now calling the L deck. So in terms of backers, in terms of copies spoken for, in terms of money raised, it's just blown everything else out of the water. Part of me thinks that it's probably because, and part of me wonders why that is. I think partially it's a cheap price for £1. Yeah, I got 375. Wow, 375. 375 people backed for £1, and more than 400 people backed to get the game, because the game is only £5. And I think that's even though it's £8 because if you include postage. And Bones John, by the way, in answer to your quick question, I learned it as a child. I was kind of cajoled into it by parents, but then my first teacher was too strict, second teacher didn't care, and third teacher was really nice. But I only moved away from the first really strict teacher when she moved away. So I'm really glad she did, because my third teacher was the one that made me kind of fall in love with it really again. So yeah, why has it done well? I think it is a good game. I think it's somewhat unique and interesting, and people like that. I think that the fact that it's been at, UK Games Expo and people already played it, and there is already some proof, because my second biggest Kickstarter was also for a second edition of a game, and this is technically for the second edition game, except that the first edition only had 50 copies printed. But this feels like a good model. I mean, this feels like, wow, I should do this more often. Print 50 copies of a thing, or maybe 100. Maybe I should listen more to the people. I don't know, maybe 100 would have been too. Maybe if I'd printed 100, I wouldn't have had this pent-up demand of people coming on Saturday and saying, oh, I really want this game, can I get it? And then I'm saying, like, no, you can't, but if you sign up to my mailing list, you will be able to get it. And then I got all these nice comments. And also, at KCON last weekend, I played with the moderators of Big Cuck. And then the moderators of Big Cuck, a Facebook group with 20,000 members, gave me some really nice words. So that was really nice. And I think everything's like kind of pushed to make this work. I don't believe that my next Bezzy budget bag will do as well as this one. But even if it does 1/4 as well, that would still be really good. And the truth is, even if I got like 30 people backing for the physical copy, like if I got 30 copies spoken for, then it's still worth me doing. And that is the beauty of print on demand, sorry. And those numbers, they're easy to look at and say, how much money has it made? How many backers? How many copies sold? How many copies spoken for, I should say. And of course, I'm incredibly validated and thankful. But then there's other things. It's like, how much joy did this Kickstarter bring? And hopefully it will bring more, because that's 750 people that are hopefully going to be smiling a little bit. And how little stress can it deliver to me? And I think that my decision to not do international shipping, I'm really, really grateful for that. I will say that before I leave, one more thing, just one last thing. Vegard from Poland has offered to help me with printing in Poland for an international edition. And so there might be an international edition in time for Essen, which Vegard could be selling from. I'm going to be an honorary Norwegian. So they count me as a Norwegian. I don't, basically, because we're working together, because it's like Norwegian facilitated. It's meant to be a Norwegian stand, but this game is kind of Norwegian facilitated in that it wouldn't exist were it not for the Norwegian who had printed it. So I will print my own copies, I'll send them out, and then there will be a third edition, which is almost exactly the same as the second edition. But apparently from Poland, shipping is cheaper, but we couldn't work it out in time. But I'm still really grateful. It's been fantastic. I had a good time running out last night. I appreciate you all. Lots of love, Bones John. Lots of love, Rob. Lots of love, Dutch Yoda. And the only thing that is left to say, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you to all my Kickstarter backers. And if you're watching this video after the fact, then thank you as well. And if you're watching it, let's have a quick question. Like, from me to you, my quick question is going to be, what would you rather have? A monster that goes bleh, or a monster that goes ee? Like a monster that goes bleh, or a monster that goes ee? Okay, I'm thinking that a monster that goes bleh, it sounds like it's vomiting or something. That's not very good. There's a monster that goes ee. It sounds like maybe it's in pain. Like maybe I'm just getting dark. But like the E sounds cuter to me. So like yeah, I'm going to go with a monster that goes E. Yeah. So bleu or E? Which one would you choose? So let me know in the comments. So that's my quick question. I should actually start that in the question be quick questions where I ask other people bits there as well. But yeah, if you want to check me out, obviously I'm Stuffed by Bez everywhere, and it is. Yep, if anyone had anything that they wanted to share, you knew that you could have done it by now. And a monster that goes blue sounds like vomit is funny, whereas Rob is all about the E. I mean, if you had a monster vomiting all over the place, that's just going to make a mess. But, yep, to be fair, maybe you keep it outside, maybe it's in its cage. But yeah, thank you everyone. Share, spread the word. If you have anyone that you think would like a game about wee whimsical creatures and trying to identify them after someone makes noises, let them know. Also, if you have anyone that you think would enjoy a game about drawing creatures, complimenting those drawings, and then complimenting the compliments, also let them know, because they will get both of the games for £1. How can you say no to that? No, let's not raid today because there's only like 3 people. So for now, whatever you're up to, feel free to share. What are you up to? I am personally, what are you up to actually? I feel bad. I feel like I should have done this section over to what are you up to? You can share only if you want to. So whether it's boring or exciting or interesting or super califragilisticexpialidocious or whatever it is, I am personally going to periodically check on the emails and Kickstarter and stuff, make sure that I'm on top of all the messages. I'm going to be doing a bit more streaming tonight at 7 p.m. in about 8.5 hours. I'm going to go to the Royal Festival Hall in about 20 minutes. I'm going to meet up with Ellie Dix and David Brain. We're going to play test a couple of games. I'm going to, in the next 20 minutes, try and make a prototype for a game about drawing creatures, complimenting those drawings, and then complimenting the compliments. And then I'll finish at 5, get back here for 6, have a bit of time to relax. When I say relax, I really mean catch up with the internet, and then go on stream at 7ish. I think that's what I said with Dina. But yeah, I feel like that last hour, let's just focus on it, and then Dina can be talking, and I can be like just replying to messages and enjoying the last hour. I will get some fancy soup. Maybe I won't get fancy soup. Because I'll probably eat while I'm at Royal Festival Hall. But anyway, Rob is camping this weekend. B, the other person whose name begins with B, has a folk dance weekend. Oh my gosh, that's so we're off with her for that. Nice one indeed. So for now, that brings me now truly to the end of the show. Lots of love, and bye, 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 bye. This is the goodbye song. Bye, 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 bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye, 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 bye. This is the end of the show. Bye, 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 bye. And now it's time to go. Bye, 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 bye. This is a goodbye song. Bye, 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 bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye, 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 bye. This is the end of the show. Bye, 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 bye. And now it's time to go. Bye, bye, Rob. Bye, bye, Bones. Bye, bye, Dutch Yoda. Bye, bye, anyone else who's watching, and lots of love, and bye, 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 bye.